Now, leaders of the United States, Japan and South Korea are set to meet in America's Camp David with concerns around North Korea's missile program. U.S. and its allies are expected to announce expanded military cooperation, ballistic missile defenses and technology development are set to take the center stage. Reports say the announcements will be part of a broad set of initiatives that will be unveiled as President Joe Biden hosts Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol for a one-day gathering. The White House aims to use the summit for institutionalizing, deepening and thickening the habits of cooperation between the three countries as they face an increasingly complicated Indo-Pacific.
Friday, President Biden will host Japanese Prime Minister Kishida and South Korean President Yoon at Camp David to mark what we believe is a new era in trilateral cooperation among our countries. Strengthening our trilateral cooperation is critical to delivering for our people, for the region, and for the world. It's a force multiplier for good. It helps us promote peace and stability and furthers our commitment to the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula.
While North Korea is set to top the agenda, reference to an increasingly aggressive China will also be watched closely. Beijing is said to be on high alert due to the three-way summit. The Chinese Foreign Ministry says it opposes practices that exacerbate confrontation and jeopardize the strategic security of other countries. The summit will mark the first time President Biden will host at Camp David. The presidential retreat has been the site of significant moments of diplomacy. In the midst of World War II, President Franklin Roosevelt and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill met at the retreat. They met at worthwhile Shangri-La to plan the Italian campaign that would knock Benito Mussolini out of the war. Decades later, former President Jimmy Carter hosted Egyptian-Israeli leaders in September 1978. The summit established a framework for a historic peace treaty between Israel and Egypt in March 1979. Retired Colonel Rich Outzen is a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council and the Jamestown Foundation. He's now joining us live from Washington, D.C. Colonel Rich, welcome to WION World is One. First of all, I want to know, what do you make of this upcoming trilateral summit at Camp David?
It's good to be with you, Eric. I think that this is best seen as another one of the puzzle pieces in putting together multilateral cooperation for stability in the Indo-Pacific region. So there's been much talk, of course, about the Quad that includes Japan, India, Australia, and the United States as a bulwark of strategic cooperation among the countries who are concerned over Chinese hegemonic ambitions and also interested in maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific. In addition to that, there's been this peace between the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia, referred to as AUKUS. So there is no one big NATO-like organization, but there are several multilateral institutions. And I think the goal of this is to cement another on the northern end of the free and open Indo-Pacific between South Korea and Japan, which have had, as you know, difficult relations over the years with the United States. And this, it is hoped, will be the first of what will become an annual and much more institutionalized form of strategic collaboration.
Colonel Rich, some critics, including China, say that the alliance is founded on what they call quicksand, and that the three countries are unlikely to form a united front in an increasingly complicated Pacific. What do you make of that statement?
Well, I don't take much of what the Chinese say at face value. I think it's not quicksand, but it's something more like strong pillars. When you have economic cooperation and integration to the degree that the United States, Japan, and South Korea have, certainly the levels of trade and economic collaboration are very great there. That's not quicksand. And at the same time, we have deep military ties. There's strong defense industrial cooperation among those three. And there's also United States strong military presence in both countries. But more to the point, China by asserting sort of unilateral control over the surrounding seas and islands and making it clear that they want to become sort of the top dog or the hegemon in that area, threaten the interest of all three. Common interest among these three is hardly quicksand. That is the strongest sort of strategic bond. So I think the prospects for deepening cooperation are stronger than Beijing would describe them.
All right, final question to you, Colonel Rich, is that there have been a lot of talks, and since now we are talking about the three countries and we're talking about the Indo-Pacific, opinion is that the summit is seen by many as a major diplomatic breakthrough and also a significant upgrade in trilateral ties. Do you agree?
I think it's premature to say that. What it is a significant commitment of time and diplomatic effort by the leaders of the three countries. So a very top-level meeting. I think it's aspirational to say that this marks, because of just the holding of this meeting, a great advance. But what it does is it opens the door to more advances. And from the articles I've seen, there's new technological collaborations, there's more defense industrial projects and deals. So this could be opening the door to taking a very strong relationship and deepening it even further. And for that reason, I think it is very significant. It's an act of adroit diplomacy by the Biden administration, which has not been known for such adroitness. So I'm glad to see it.
All right, glad to see it and glad to talk to you. I've been talking to a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council and the Jamestown Foundation, retired Colonel Rich Outzen. As always, thank you very much for talking to WION World is One today.
You're welcome, Eric. Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.